Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're doing something a little bit different. I wanted to get into doing a daily type of puzzle thing. I know I post daily Sudokus, but I don't do those as dailies. I record things as I can and I get things published on a daily basis, but they're not a daily puzzle. What I wanted to do was start getting some dailies, real dailies in here. Just fun stuff and not some of the normal stuff. All you ever, I mean, not all you ever see, but you see tons of people do, you know, the Wordles, the New York Times crosswords, and those sorts of things. And I just don't want to compete with that stuff because it doesn't seem interesting to me to do that, even though I do like doing some of those things, but it's more of just a couple of things here and there to do to kill some time. But anyway, the point of this is I want to start doing these types of daily puzzles. I wanted to kind of get a couple of them together maybe at some point and do like a little series of things where it's this, and this. And it might be a 15, 20-minute video sort of thing. Something quick and easy just to have a little bit of intrigue of some apps and stuff that you might not be familiar with. Well, this is one of them, Tents and Trees. And you can see off in the corner here, there's an Oh Hi, and there's also a daily puzzle page. Now, I wanted to do these two as well, but there's a formatting thing that I've got to figure out with them. But so today we're going to start with Tents and Trees. If you've never heard of it, this maybe is a nice little intro. You can go find this app, or you can find another one that you prefer than this one. This one is by Frozak Games. I've been playing it for a while now, just on my phone as a side thing, just for a little bit of fun to take the brain off of some of the other stuff. So we're going to do this one today. And I'm going to try to do this every day. That's the point. It may not be every day, but I'm going to try to do it as my schedule allows for it to happen. But we're going to start here, and let's just get into this. So I left this up. I'll have to switch screens. We'll hit the play here, get this thing going, and then I'll do a transition to the actual thing. And it's going to give us a tutorial how to do this. I think my face is kind of out of the way. I'll turn off the cam for right now so you can see all the intro stuff. So this is obviously just the tutorial. Once we get into this stuff, we won't have this in here, so I can just keep going. But welcome. Trees are placed on the grid. You have to place one tent next to each tree. Sometimes this is done with like cars, with like gas pumps, and tents and trees. One of those things. There's a bunch of different versions of this, but this is kind of the one that I originally saw. So, but anyway, you have to place a tent next to each tree. The other cells have grass. You can't place two tents in adjacent sections to each other. I guess we'll probably get to that, so we can hit OK. The numbers around the grid will tell you the number of tents in the corresponding row or column. So this has kind of like a pseudo Sudoku kind of feel thing to it almost. So you'll see here, this column is going to have one tent only. This one tent, this one tent, this one tent, this 0, this 2. So that's going to give you the information you need to fill this stuff in. Then, of course, it says, yeah, here we go. Each tent must be in one of the 4 adjacent cells next to its tree, but not diagonally. And tents can't touch each other. That was what I was starting to say. So these guys can't do this because they are adjacent to each other. Can't do orthogonally adjacent or diagonally adjacent to each other for tents. And then, well, this is gonna just run a quick tutorial here. So the easy thing about some of these, like these zeros, you can just click the 0 and it'll automatically remove all of the areas where you can and you can't have tents. And then I'm thinking this is going to be the same way that I do it on my app. Yeah, you have to double click. Yeah, by tapping twice on the cell. So we know this one is going to require a tent next to it because all of the other locations can't have one. So we have to double click, it'll put a tent up. Now we know that none of these can be tents because they're touching this. Now it's going to let us do it by ourselves. So we're going to know that this guy here has to do this. This guy here has to do this because it's the only places where they can go. Now, if you look at the sides here, you're going to see that the ones are now grayed out. So there cannot be any more tents in this column. So we can hit that, and it'll remove options. And now by that, it's clear now that this has to be the only place that you can put one. Now we could push this one here, but we don't have to because we know this is a tent. And if we do double click on this one, it will automatically remove or automatically finish the level and get rid of any of the empty spaces that you haven't selected. So you can actually go through these puzzles and not ever click away any of the empty spaces. In fact, there's a mode here later on that's what you have to do. So that you don't have to actually click any of those if you don't want to. If you can see it without that sort of thing, Usually I do like to click on those things just because it makes it easier visually for me, but that's me. So let's click on this one and finish the puzzle. There we go. Now, I'm hoping the audio on that's not too loud. I think it's fine. It's below my voice level, it looks like, in my audio bar, so it should be okay, but we can adjust those as we go. So now we've completed the very first level. I'm not going to watch videos because I'm not going to put ads in these things, obviously. There are also packs in these things, which we'll get to a point where we'll see all the packs and stuff like that. I have something on my glasses that I'm going to remove, but you can watch videos to unlock some of them, or you can spend coins, which you can see in the top right corner of the page here. You gain coins as you finish puzzles, and then you can use those coins to unlock certain things, like other puzzles or other modes or other things like that. So let's keep going. We'll move on to the next puzzle, and now, of course, it's not going to help us. We're just going to let us do our thing. Now, you can push this button. It'll give you a hint. Try to avoid that if we can. You can push this button. It'll go back one step of what you did, and then this is just a menu button where you can select it. So we can get rid of all these, and then we can actually just go in if we want to and say, this can't be, 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 because none of them are anywhere near a tent or tree that they can work with. Then we can go in and say, this one has to be in, this has to be in, this has to be in. Now these two are out. This one and this one have to be in. There we go. Good. Don't forget that each tree is associated with exactly one tent. Yeah, so you can also put these little connections here. So if you're on a very these get a lot more complicated than this. If you're on a very complicated puzzle, you can associate the tent with a specific tree by making this link. That way you can visually see which ones are attached to which. So if there was like a bunch of pointing to the screen, and I'm not even here, let me actually put my camera back on so you can see me. But if you, in this here, you can associate each tent or link each tent with a tree. So that if there's situations where you'll have a tent that you don't know which tree it actually goes to, but you do know that there's a tent in that position. So being able to link these together can help clarify that. Okay, those I will edit out anytime an ad comes through here. I guess on this version, it's going to have ads. In the actual app, you don't ever have ads on my phone. You only need to do have an ad if you want to unlock a level for free. To watch an ad, you can do that. Anyway, we're going to just edit out anytime an ad kicks in, and you might see a little transition there. Let's keep going. And we can kind of get into a speed run of these things almost, knowing which ones are going to be which and which ones are not. There we go. Now, I'm hoping the ads don't come very often. I have a feeling, I didn't think there was going to be ads on this thing because the way that I've worked it before, but sadly, well, not sadly, but I mean, these guys put in a bunch of time to make these things, so you can expect that there would be ads that they want to help build some revenue so they can keep these puzzles going. So we'll just kind of go through, and now we know, again, so the little tips and tricks I'll kind of put as we go through, but we know this has to have two of them. There's only one here, so this one has to be in, therefore this is out. We know both of these have to be in because this has to have three. Now that one says that's not in, and that one is in. And these will keep these puzzles will keep getting larger and larger and larger in terms of their rows and columns. These are all 5x5s to start. Of course, this is just a tutorial type of section. So, and I really do enjoy when I'm doing this on my phone. It is obviously restrained to the size of the phone. So when you get into the big puzzles, it can be very difficult to push the icon that you want to hit instead of fat fingering it and hitting something else, and that causes problems at times. So let's keep moving. These are both going to be in because this is a 2. This has to be in because it's a 1. These are all out now, and these 2 are in. Pretty simple, right? Well, we'll keep adding our coins, and I like to try to save the coins as much as possible so that we can use them to unlock. And now I'll stop that thought here. Here's an actual point that is a little tip or trick here. When you have a situation when you have a tree like this, and it has 3 empty spaces where those spaces could be possible tent locations. Well, if it's in this configuration, this one right here can never be a tent, because if it is, both of these have to be removed, and then this tree will never have a tent. So if you see this configuration, you can instantly say that's not in. This one now is, which puts this in, which puts this in, which puts this and this in. And I might reduce this audio just a touch. What do I have it on? -10. I'll drop it a couple of dB just to make sure it's not too loud each time it pops through. Okay, so this guy has to be in, this is in, those are out, this is out, you're in, out, in. Cool. And again, once we get to some larger setups here, there'll be other things that we can use to help us determine where things can and can't go, which will be quite useful. So we'll just get on through these. And I'll try to get to at least a couple of other packs that are maybe a little bit larger. Okay, so we're in the classics packs. Let me back out a second and just kind of show you. Well, it might not actually let me do it just yet, but we have, let's just go through the thing. Oh, that's probably why. If I logged into Google Play Games, I can get the achievements. I might have to create a Google Play account on this thing. I think they're free. But I'll do that. Maybe that will remove those other ads. That'll be a good thing to do, because I want to, yeah, I'm going to have to do that. So this is the achievements here. So there's a bunch of achievements you can do. So if you want to, you can't really platinum because there's no platinums, but you know the concept of getting every single achievement. You can do that. These guys here, I don't remember what this is for. I'll have to go back and look. And of course you have your settings, and these are kind of the most recent things. And then of course, every 6 hours you can get free coins if you click on them. And then this is like a settings thing. You can turn it on to night mode. You can leave it in the normals. You can buy using coins some of the, like you can change the tents to look like these teepees. You can change them to this space station or boats or rafts or what have you, etc., etc. So you can choose your own themes. So let's hit play again. Okay, so it's keeping me on the 6x6s, but I think I can move. Yeah, so I can. Okay, good. This is similar to how it's set up. So I can go to, these are the classic packs. There's a bunch of classic packs. Then once you get to a certain point, and you can see you can unlock them for a certain number of coins. So you can start, this entire pack will unlock for 20 coins. Now we have 30 coins, so we can do that. Now when we unlock this pack and we keep going down and down and down, there's going to be classic packs. There's going to be large packs. There's going to be vertical packs. And there's a couple of other versions and types of modes in this thing that you can unlock as you go forward. Now, currently, though, we have just this classic pack section. We have the dailies, so it'll give you a couple of dailies. I think the further you get into this thing, the more, maybe it's more of these crowns that you get, the more will unlock that you can do every single day. Because on my app, I've got like 8 or 9, I think, dailies, and you'll be able to do yesterday's dailies and today's dailies, but I think you have to be, again, either to a certain point in the game, or you have to have been able to played yesterday's or open the thing up in yesterday's to have it open up. Now here are the large packs, so you can, it's not letting me scroll for some reason. Oh, I can just click this way. Got it. Oh, cool. So there's a bunch of large packs. Maybe that's what I needed to do. I want to go back to here. Let me, yeah, there we go. Okay, I just didn't know how to scroll. So you've got a ton of packs that you can open up, and they're going to increasingly have more requirements of coins to be able to unlock them. So different sizes, and we're going to have like these gears. I think it means that they're a slightly harder version. Then we have these gears with the tent and the question mark, means that it's going to be a harder version, but it's also not going to give you as many clues. So we saw like all of the 1s and 2s and 0s and what have you on each side. It's only going to have a few clues where you have to use what you have there to get what you need to do. Now that's the same one. There's another one where it's only where you can't, what I was saying previously, where you can't hit any of the empty spaces to mark them as not having a tent on them. You just can't do that. You have to do it by your memory and your vision. I'm going to try and, I guess I can't get to, I guess we don't have any of those just yet to go to. Okay, here we go. The dailies, again, I just didn't scroll. Here we go. The lawnmower symbol. The lawnmower symbol, and I won't click on it right now. I'll do that on another video once we get into it. And once we get a little bit more involved in this, and I don't want to necessarily, well, let me do this. I'll use the ad, and I'll cut this out. The ad, of course, because I don't want you to see that. But I can either unlock this for a certain number of coins, which I don't want to do, or I can watch an ad, and then we'll open these up. And we'll do a couple of these, actually, so I can show you. Let's hold on for that for a second. We'll come back to it. Let's just go through everything. We've got the large packs, which are going to be big packs. So you can get 22 by 22s. I mean, it goes up to 24 by 24s. Then we have the vertical packs, which are, they're not squares anymore. They become a vertical line. And there's a bunch of different ones of those we can get through. Then there's the no grass packs, which is the one I just talked about, where you can't select any of the grass. You can only place trees. And then we have, I guess you can make custom packs, which I've never seen that before. So cool. That might be a thing here only. So let's go back to the classic packs for the let's go to the dailies. Let's do those. Let's start with the dailies, and we'll get into some of these other harder types just so I can show you what's what. But the point of these was to do dailies, so let's do some dailies, and then I'll probably mix in some of the classic stuffs as we go through as well. Or I might do them on the side just to get extra coins. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it, but let's do this one as a daily pack. And I can just kind of click through all these things. Of course, anywhere where a tent cannot touch a tree, we can get rid of them. Then we can put these in. Now on this 3, we know that these 2 will have to be, because you can't put 2 trees next to it. So this block of 2 acts as like a singular possible location. So 1, 2, 3. There's a lot of counting that we'll end up doing in this thing. And I'll probably try to keep it into my head, but it's going to be there. These need 2, so we'll put 2. That removes this one. This one needs another one. These guys are done. Now we know where this one goes. Okay, and we are back from that quick ad. And let's keep going. Again, I'll try to make an account where I don't have these ads pop up, because they're really, I mean, I understand why they're there, but I'd rather I didn't have to cut these videos every time to cut out the ads. So again, here in this 3 one, this one only acts as 1, so these 2 have to be in, which removes these guys and all of those. Now this 2 says these guys have to be in, so those are all out. This 2 means these 2 have to be in. This 1 says these are then out. 1 is done, 1 is done. This has to be in, this has to be in, this has to be in. And we keep getting rewards for every one we do. The more rewards we get, of course, the more coins we get. So we can keep opening larger, more difficult packs, which is where we want to get to. Good. Now this guy here, he has to be here. It's the only spot left over. Now that leaves these guys here. You have to be in because you're a twofer. One of these 2 will have to be in. Again, when we get to a point, this is another little trick here. It's not going to help us on this one specifically, but if we have a situation here where we know there's a tent, and we know there's only one of these 2 could ever possibly be in. If this guy here was still a possibility, and it isn't because it says 0, but if we have a situation like this where we know there is 1, we know the total is 2, and one of these is going to have to be in to be able to make the 2 work, we obviously can't have this one be a tent, because if it was, then we'd be down to only 2. So we could have removed that, but again, that one already was removed. This one here has to be 1 and 2, so that one goes away. That one's in, that's out. Again, 1 and 2, so that's that one. This has to be that one, that's that, and this is the last one. Cool. And again, I'm going to try to keep, this one might be a little bit long because I've taken time to really talk about what's going on, but I'm trying to keep this to like 15, 20 minutes type of videos if I can. Sometimes that may not occur, sometimes it may. We'll have to figure that out as we go. All of these have to be in because of that 4. That one's definitely out. One of these 2 is in, which means it's this one, and this one. Now try to get through this daily, and then I'll try to open up some of the other versions. I'll probably I don't know which one I'm going to do off the top of my head, but I'm going to try to get you guys to be able to see what some of the other versions are. That one can't be in because it would force these two to both be out, and then there would only be two left. Same goes for this one. 1, 2, 3, 4 possibilities here, but if we take this one as a tent, it would remove 2 of the 4, so therefore we can't do that. Those are the type of things we can keep doing to understand. 1, 2, 3, 4 here, so this and this have to be out, so we don't remove more than we can. This one here just has to be in, which means this one just has to be in, which means this one has to be in, and this one. Good. Now, do we have anything else that's sitting in front of us? Yep, this one has to be in, so this one has to be in. This one does. Now, one of those two we know is in, but we don't know where yet, because the 1 says one of those is, but we can see that. This 2 here says this one is. These are all out. This 3 is now done. This 1 is in, which means that's out. This is in. You're in, and now we get you. Good, there we go. And we have one more left. Okay, so this is telling you that if you're doing this on your phone, you can zoom in and out by swiping and moving your fingers. I really dislike this just because I don't like how you can't see the entirety of the puzzle. So the clues that you can see, it doesn't feel like it has as much impact. But when you have a really big puzzle where it's hard to see and you might have to zoom in from time to time. But I prefer not to, just because it's very hard for me to see. Now, again, I'm just going in and getting rid of the ones that clearly can't ever have anything. Now, sometimes you'll see, well, like this is a huge old bundle of what the heck do we do? Always look for the largest or smallest numbers. I usually start with largest, so look at these 3s, 1, 2, 3, 4. We just said if we have 4, can't make this one because it removed both of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, remove that one. Now this 1 only has 2 possibilities, so this one can't be in. 1, 2, 3, 4, these 2 can't be in, and that one can't be because, again, it would remove 2 options. Now this guy is all alone, so he has to be in and he has to be in, which finishes you. Now you have to be in, you have to be in, you have to be in, and you have to be in. Now the 2 and the 1 are done. This 2 has 1 already. One of these 2 must be in, so this can't be. This 2 now has 3 possibilities, so this one can't be because it removed 2. This 2 here sees one of these 2. It can't be both of them, but it has to have one of them, and we already have another one here, so this can't be in. This one is in, which removes this, puts this in. Good. Now, here we have a 2. One of these is and one of these is, so this one is. And this 1 here says this one is. This 3 says this is the last one. The 2 says that's the last one of those. This one has to be in and removes these and these. Now that's in. These 2 are in, and this one's in to finalize. This is the end of this pack. So we can just hit the next button and it'll bring us back here. I wish I could zoom this out a little, actually, because I'm not as big of a fan of having to scroll up and down like this. But it is what it is. So I'm going to look at this one because this is, and this will probably be the last pack I do. It'll tell you how many puzzles are in it. There's only 2. But this is one of the ones where it's going to be a little bit harder because it has the gear symbols, and it's going to only give you a certain number of clues. You won't have every single row or column have a clue. But to do this, I will need to see an ad. So, okay, so we are open now. So we can play both of these. And we could see what they were. So when you click on these things, it'll tell you the unlock, and this one, it'll tell you the size of them. So you can say this one's a big boy, both 17 by 17s. The one that we had selected here was an 8 by 8 and a 9 by 9, so nothing massive. So let's do the 8 by 8s and 9 by 9. So this level is hard by the thing, and the numbers of some rows or columns are hidden. So like I said, we have 3 clues only, so we don't have any other clues in any of the other rows or columns. So we have to pick through this now and see what of those clues we can use to continue. And I actually like these ones better. I think they're a little bit easier than some of the big clue, the 12 by 12s, 15 by 15s, and those kind of bigger puzzles that have every single clue, because you don't know where to start specifically sometimes. It's kind of similar to like a fog of war in Sudoku. The fog of war in Sudoku will tell you, will point you in a direction where you know you have to kind of look because there's no other place to look, usually. And this is kind of the same thing. So we have a 4 clue. So 1, 2. Now these for this 4 clue, this one and this one could be a clue. So this group counts as a possible of 2 tents. +1, +1. So these 2 have to be in. You have to be in. Now, these guys are all out because they're touching tents. Now, again, we know one of these 2 have to be in, so this one can't ever be in. 3, we're going to do the same thing. We have 4 possibilities, so this one, and this one can't be in because they would remove too many options. So you're in. Now, we can go back again now because we can say this one also can't be in because it would remove 2 options. Now, this one has to be in, which means this one has to be in. This one has to be in, and that creates this chain reaction. So now that is that one. This has to go to this one. That's that. That's that. This one can't be in because of that, so this one is. Now, this guy has only one option. These are out, and that's in. There we go. And back we are. So again, we have one more. Yeah, we already know that. So let's keep on going down the line and get through this one. Again, I try to do these actually fairly quickly, which I don't do in Sudokus, just because it's a little bit easier to do on this one. 2, 3, 4 different versions, so these 2 have to be out. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's out, that's out. And then again, one of the things I said previously, we have a tree that has 3 in an L shape. Therefore, this one can never be in. Same here. This one can never be in. Same here. This can never be in. Now, this guy is alone, so he has to be here, which means you have to be in, you have to be in, you have to be in, you have to be in. Boom. Now we get another L shape, so this is out. We also have this guy who's alone, so you do that, you do this. You now have to go here, so you are here, and you are here, and you are here. Now we've got this 3 clue, so we only had 2 clues, but now we know there's 1 here, and we only have 2 spaces left, so these both go in. Now this is the last one here, so it goes in, and then that one will be the final guy. There we go. So that is a hard with the modifier of having less clues. Now, again, the ones that don't have the little tent, like this guy here, are just harder versions, supposedly, but they still have all of the clues available. And then, of course, this guy, the lawnmower one, I think we're to the point now. I'll look at this guy with you guys in the next episode, or the next daily, I guess. But this will be the one where we can't select any of the places where we can't put trees. We have to just use our heads to say, this is a tent, this is a tent, this is a tent. So we'll get to that one tomorrow, hopefully. And once after a couple of these, when I've kind of described all the stuff, I won't have to go into such detail. You guys should be able to pick it up, and we can just kind of roll with these things, and it'll be a little bit shorter. So anyway, I hope you'll enjoy this one. And if you do like this kind of content, please let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff, and I will keep doing this. Like I said, I do this on my free time anyway, so I'd really like to just do this anyway and get it out there for you guys to watch, and maybe a little bit of enjoyment on your side. So anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this one, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Bye.